What's going on, YouTube? Thanks for tuning into another one of our videos. For the first timers, my name is Brian. Better half's name is Alec.
Hey guys.
And thanks for watching. I'm sure you guys are all wondering why I'm here by myself. It's actually because Alec is back in Jamaica right now, handling the next steps in our immigration process. Whew. It's almost over, guys. Almost over. So with that being said, babe, and I actually thought it would be a great idea for us to talk about that this week, actually, about navigating a long distance relationship and finding love during the pandemic. We're going to be answering a series of questions that neither one of us know each other's answers, so this is going to be kind of interesting. So yeah, stay tuned. Wait, almost forgot. Please, if you like this video, go ahead and like it. Subscribe, just go ahead and click that button right there. And if you like it a lot, share it. Thank you. Does distance make forming a genuine bond with a potential partner more difficult? I don't think it does. I feel like if you genuinely have a bond with a person, if you guys really connect on that level, distance is not going to create a problem for you. I think it does take maturity to be able to navigate a long distance relationship, but I definitely don't think that distance plays a role in building a genuine bond.
I think it does. I definitely think that it does. When it is that somebody isn't in your space physically or in your presence physically, I find that you end up compensating in other areas. So you'd have had to use a FaceTime because video calling is probably going to be one of your best friends. If not video calling, then texting. So you're going to be spending a whole lot of time on your phone. Particularly with our relationship, that was problematic sometimes, especially when it came to cell service. So if I wasn't connected to Wi-Fi, then the most annoying thing is when you're on FaceTime and you see the exclamation mark and reconnecting. So those breaks in communication can really hinder things sometimes. And outside of that, I think that there's a whole lot of value in being able to get signs and messages from somebody's body language as well, which in a distance relationship, it's much harder to have that. At the end of the day, though, it's not impossible because I feel like with a distance relationship, you really have to connect with the heart and you really have to put effort into it, and the other person has to put effort into it as well. And if it works, I find that it just makes it all the sweeter. So it's yes and no for me. There's pros and there's cons.
Do you think our bond would be as strong as it is now if the pandemic didn't happen? This is a tricky question. Me personally, I don't know that it would be. I don't know that we would have been able to last this long, because if the country were open, I feel like we would have had so many other distractions that would not have allowed us to form this connection. For example, I'm a flight attendant. Before the pandemic, I was working, like I was hustling, I was flying everywhere. So I probably would not have had the time to make it to Jamaica as often as I did to see you, and vice versa. Like you said, like you and your friends were liming a lot. Like y'all had a lot of fun before the pandemic. So it probably would have made it a little harder to form a bond as strong as this one if we did not have the pandemic.
So I've said this to you, Brian, more than one time. I feel like everything happens for a reason. And to be quite honest, I feel like if it wasn't for the pandemic, that maybe we wouldn't have been as close as we were, as quick as we were. The pandemic, one, allowed for a whole lot more time, especially on Brian's side, in the beginning of the relationship. And even on my side, I used to be at work until 9 p.m., whereas with curfews that were imposed here in Jamaica, I was home by 5:30. In the early stages, even earlier than that. So we had a whole lot more time to be able to get to know each other. Outside of that, I feel like I would have been more preoccupied with going to parties. Anybody that know me know that I love soca, and the summer period going into November, December, like there is non-stop parties. So I think that probably my attention would have been elsewhere. So I think probably not. The pandemic probably worked in our favor in most cases. What do you miss most about Brian when you aren't in the same space? For me, the thing I miss the most, I mean, there's several things that I miss, but the thing that I miss the most is just being able to be hugged up like in the same space, just lying down, my leg thrown over him. You know, I find that sex is something that's easy to come by, but real intimacy to me is being able to be in the same space as someone else and not feel uncomfortable any at all. And it's that feeling that I really miss. Being able to be in a room and not say anything, but just have, our skin touching and feeling that connection and that warmth just by a simple touch.
What do you miss most about Alec when you aren't in the same space? I miss his touch. Like, Alec is my teddy bear. So when I go to sleep at night, I kind of like hug up on a pillow because he's not there. And he's also my easy bake oven because he's so hot. So I like to have my house freezing and then I have this hot body in my bed, hot in both ways. But yeah, like I miss touching him. Like I just miss his presence. I don't even like it doesn't even have to be a major cuddle. As long as one part of my body is touching him, I'm like at ease. So that's definitely one of the hardest things for me.
What was the most difficult situation you had to face being away from each other? This one is easy. We've had a few things that we've had to face outside of the presence of each other, but the most difficult one for me, there was one instance where he was working a flight. He felt really, really sick. And then I hadn't heard from him for a little while. And when I did hear back from him, he was at the hospital. And it's the scariest thing, like not being able to just jump in a car and go and help out your significant other, or be able to do anything really. And that was really, really scary for me. And it was at that point that I knew that, yeah, we really need to do something to bridge this gap of distance that we have. So I had to try and call one of his friends on FaceTime. I asked what hospital he was at. Um, Even talking about it now, like I can feel my heart racing. But there are very few times that I've felt so worried about somebody. Um, Thankfully, he was okay in the end, and he was discharged. So thank God for that. Yeah, but that was scary. Yeah, so hopefully we don't have to do this distance thing much longer.
For me, I think the hardest part. This was early on in our relationship, but you lost a family member that you grew up with. It was your cousin. He passed away, kind of not unexpected, but it didn't take long. So seeing you have to go through that kind of pain and me not be able to be there and like comfort you, it kind of hurt a lot because it's so hard to hear you on the phone crying and I can't even hug you. I can't even give you a kiss. I can't, you know what I mean? All I can do is tell you is going to be better over the phone. And that made it so much harder. Did the pandemic impact your relationship negatively in any way? Did it impact the relationship negatively? No. I think it was a very positive impact on our relationship simply because it gave us time to be able to get to know each other. Um, it allowed us to really form that bond. Like, I got to know you and develop a friendship, a genuine friendship with you before I even met you. So in that aspect, or in that regard, no, it definitely did not have a negative impact on us being as close as we are. Um, on our situation, absolutely. The pandemic has slowed us down from being together wholeheartedly. Um, so as you guys know, we're in the process of immigration to do our K1 visa. I hope it's okay to say that. Um, and what should have taken 6 months is now approaching a year. So yeah, there was a lot of things that we weren't aware of doing this process on our own, and we found out quite a bit last minute actually. So we're moving, like things are moving now. Excuse me, but that pandemic definitely had a negative impact on us finally being together. As you see, he's not here right now because of it. So we're working through it. We're gonna get through it. But yeah, I would say the pandemic helped me and hurt me in the same breath.
What advice would you give for a healthy or a successful long distance relationship? So I'm probably going to sound like a scratch record right now because I'm sure anybody that has spoken about long distance relationships, the number one thing that they're going to talk about is communication. You cannot stress that enough. That's why all of us say the same thing. Um, Communication, like, you always need to be in the know because the person isn't there to physically see what you're doing all the time, or you just, communication is super 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 important. Outside of that, I think that in everything that you do, you have to really be deliberate in trying to include your partner more. And when it is that you do have time together, that you also need to be deliberate about how it is that you're going to spend your time, to really capitalize on it, because you're not going to have a whole lot of time all the time. Brian and I have been lucky enough to be able to see each other at least once, or yeah, at least once almost every month. There are just a few of them that we didn't get to see each other, but they were just for a few days at a time. And as I said, when you're having fun, like, time goes just like that. So yeah, I would say make sure you communicate, always keep your partner in the know. Think about them in everything that you do and try to share as much as you can. So that's like pictures, videos, checking in with them while it is that you're there so that they feel included. And yeah, maximize on the amount of time that you have together. So make sure you have it planned out, that you're not wasting any time, that you get to go out and do things and have experiences with each other. Yeah, so I think that was it from us today. I know that this video might be a little bit shorter than previous ones, but it's because we're not together. Yeah, I mean, if you guys really like this video, give us a thumbs up. Don't be afraid to comment because we love being able to respond to the comments. And if you really, 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 really love this video, then share, subscribe, because that's what keeps us going. It was really, really a pleasure, guys. And until next time, take care.